Hello there, all my YouTube folks. It is late in the evening. It is almost midnight, and as you can see, I'm not at my usual digs. I'm doing a little bit at house sitting, so I'm just kind of taking that time to. Normally, when I do a video at this place while I'm house sitting, it's in the other room there with the bar behind me. But I've been setting up my computer to work on the TV out here, so it's easier just to leave it here. Um, I also am surrounded by three cats, so that are not mine, not my usual cats. So if anybody shows up in this video in that way, my apologies ahead of time. Although the new kitten's adorable, he's probably a month old or something like that. All right, guys, so you have probably clicked on the title of what this video is about. So you should already kind of know a little bit, but basically, the temp, the latest temp job I got with JP Chase has ended. I completed my training. I completed my probation period and everything like that. I was working. My numbers were good and all. And then the Trump administration kind of started fooling around with things. And this job was very, I signed an NDA. I can't be super transparent. This job involved looking through forms that the current administration is very interested in right now. And that interest involved changing some things. So they changed fees, they changed required dates on forms and stuff like that. And, if you're going to increase the cost of something $1,000, globally, that's still not a drop in the bucket. So let me get a calendar up so I have some type of idea here, because so it's getting ready to be the 6th, and the last time I was at work was Monday the 1st. The last time before that I was at work would have been the 7th. Or sorry, the 30th of September. Would have been the last day I was at work before the 6th. So they had been, basically there had been some writing on the wall, because as you can see, we were not at work quite a bit. I'd say in the last 90 days, I've probably had 3 weeks off, or 4 maybe altogether. But that that's really kind of what went down. That's been the extent of the interruption in our work at this place. Literally, they got to a point where they pretty much don't need any contingent temp workers. They can probably survive on their JPMC staff right now. Now, um, all that being said, it is important to note that um, this isn't anything we did or anything like that. Uh, I was invited to reapply and everything. They were very cool this time around about how they let us go. They spoke to us in person and everything like that, which a lot of temp agencies don't exactly do. Um, but yeah, that's the situation. Um, Only partially employed again. Um, and like I said, they have been kind of the last 8 weeks. I feel like I've probably only worked half half of the last 8 weeks or so, maybe a little more than half or something like that, but just not very long at all. Uh, then there were also times where I would go to work, but I'd only be there an hour or two, and then they'd start sending us home. And when it's 38 minutes to work, um, you're not really making a whole lot of money there. Uh, Now, it is also important to note that I made it through several rounds of layoffs. So they've been laying people off over the past few weeks. And this is actually like the third or fourth, I think it's the third round of layoffs, and it's going to be probably the last one. They really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for this one. They said that it did kind of come down to our numbers. I then pointed out that all of my numbers were in spec and, as actually getting compliments about them and stuff like that. Their point was that that was good, but that they had to fundamentally make cuts somewhere. And just, it came down to you need to get rid of the 3 or 5 worst numbers on this team or something like that. And regardless of my numbers being in spec, they aren't as good as some like 20-year-old sorter who can sort faster than a sorting machine. There are sorters at some of these places that can literally sort faster than a money counter can count. And those are going to be the people that get to keep their jobs. And that usually takes some time to do. Not many people are to that level in the first 90 days. Although you do get noticeably faster from day 1 to day 90. That I'm not saying it can't happen. But yeah, um, and I don't have appreciable anything appreciable to show from that either. Um, and the other frustrating thing is I started to trust in my agency rep, and she kept going on about how oh, they never clear out your department. They never clear out your department. Um, they usually need like balancers and stuff like that, and they hardly ever clear out your department. And it's like, well, that's interesting because I just saw about 4 people leave. Uh, I've actually seen the writing on the wall for some time. Uh, Now, I was talking about this with kind of one of the friends I've made at work, and she kind of kept going on about how, no, no, they said that they weren't going to do it like that. I'm like, well, look at what's happening. You know, this is like my second rodeo with a sorting place. And, you know, when you're sitting around not doing anything, and the company's paying you for that, they don't like that. So like the second that work starts diminishing, and you know that you're sitting around for hours, you have some choices you can kind of make at that point. But basically the two main choices you have to make at that point are: am I going to LWAP and go home early without pay, in the hopes that doing so will help the company out, and having done that they will keep me on? Or do I just hang around all night and like do classwork and, whatever stuff, they need me to do, or what have you, or can find for me to do? You have varying levels of experience at all that stuff, so it might not get done, efficiently, for all we know, or all they know. So, uh, I have been the I will go home crew, okay? And I noticed that the no, I'm gonna sit around and nurse the clock all night crew were some of the first people to leave. They were people that were doing that, and people with like late issues, not necessarily absent, but people who were habitually late. Those were the first people to go out the door. Uh, and that's probably what I would do too. Find out who's interested in worthlessly taking money from the company, uh, and who can't get here on time, and then I would go from there. Um, I wasn't actually present for the second round of layoffs. I'm not sure what the criteria was for them. Although I do know someone on my team who was let go during the second round of layoffs, and I couldn't really figure out why. It didn't seem like she was late a lot. The only thing she really did that was maybe out of the ordinary a bit was she asked a lot of questions, that a lot of other people weren't asking. Took a lot of people's time, um, but I mean, really, you know, procedurally, she didn't do anything wrong. Um, I guess what this really comes down to is I do appreciate that they were better about it this time around. Like, hey, this really has nothing to do with you, although we did have to use your numbers as a criteria, but says really nothing to do with you. We simply don't have any work right now. Um, they have invited me to keep an eye on the agency's website, and I am absolutely allowed to reapply when there is a position back open. But I don't envision that there will be if some things don't change PDQ. Um, so that's really where I am right now. Just back down to my telecom job, and um, struggling again. Just struggling to pay my rent, struggling to. I mean, I my agent had me so convinced that everything was going to be okay at some point that I actually went and got 5G internet. So for the last few months, I've had Verizon 5G home internet, like at my house. Like, I can use internet at my house. I'm not having to go to a hotspot somewhere, and now I can't pay for it. In fact, it just got shut off. you know. Um, and that's kind of really bothering me about temp work. I mean, I understand that it's temp work, right? Um, but there's usually like a listed contract length, like 18 months or something like that, right? Um, or it's open ended with a probation period or something like that. Um, and it's kind of getting to where they don't even like it's like they try and get rid of everybody by the time they're out of training, because the same thing happened at City. We completed our training, or what we ended up doing was sitting around a lot, just like with this job. So we sat around a lot, and then finally completed our training, and then they went through the entire class, training class, and kept two or three of the best individuals out of it, and then let the rest of us go. Just we're all sitting around doing nothing, for 10 hours a shift. Um, it was getting to be like, again, like there's writing on the wall here, and it just got to where it was really difficult to what I'm trying to say. Um, I guess it's kind of important to note that almost all work is temp work now. I mean, like even at, say, Walmart, you have a 90-day probation period you have to get through. So during that first 90 days, you're considered a temp. Um, um, Now, the other issue here is that I have also been invited to apply for other stuff through the agency's site, and you know, just having looked at the site a bit, uh, they don't have any office style work available right now. In fact, most of the stuff they have available within 20 miles of here is warehouse work and stuff like that. And I'm just really not suited for that anymore. I've really worn the right side of my body out pretty bad, and it's getting rough to keep doing that. Anyway, the video's gotten pretty long, longer than I wanted. It's late. I need to get out of here and back over to my place to kind of check on my cats and go to sleep for the night. So I'll probably do that after this uploads. And I just, I think everybody knows how this is. At some point, you're looking at yourself at like, pushing 50 in the mirror, and the lines in your face are getting deeper and everything like that. And you're starting to wonder, like, what the hell you're going to do for the rest of your life. If, because you're closer to the end of it than the beginning of it now. And, you know, I just, it feels like I've become one of these guys from back home that, like, all they do is temp jobs and little work here and there and everything like that. And, if you had someone else in your life, that might be sustainable, but I just can't really live like that right now. Well, anyway, probably best I don't wax all philosophical right now, right? So, have a good night, everybody. Good morning, and thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. I can always use the subscribers. And I will talk to you soon. Goemonronin signing out.